What about our family? We need to set the example. Don't cower back in prayer when your husband and children are there. Your prayer shouldn't be any different than when they're home, than when they're gone. We should be praying just as fervently when they're there. Actually look for opportunities to pray with my son and for my son. When challenging situations come up, to be able to point him to God. When someone gets hurt in your family, what's the first thing you do? My son got hit by a firework a few years ago. We were at a friend's house, and my husband and Pastor Daniel were lighting up these fireworks, and they were being silly. They weren't doing it the way they should have. And one exploded really close to my son, and he got burned. And we couldn't see, so we ran into the house, and we were, going to get all this first aid stuff. And my friend, Kimberly, she says, "Oh, no, stop right now. We need to pray first." And she immediately laid hands on my son and started fervently praying. And God taught me a lesson that day. It shouldn't be Google, what's wrong with me. It shouldn't be anything else but God. When things happen, when challenges arise, we need to turn to God. One thing I did for a season, and I haven't been doing lately, is I would anoint my son every single day. I would literally anoint his head, and I would pray for him, and I would declare that he was a child of God, and I would declare things over him of who he was and what God wanted to do for him. And he just loved that. He would come to me and say, "Mom, will you anoint me? Will you pray for me?" How can we incorporate these things to get our family excited about prayer? The second thing we need to do is share our testimonies. Tell your husband and your children what God's doing. Obviously, when it's age appropriate with our kids, not everything is appropriate to share with them. Tell them how God's answering your prayers. Ask your husband's permission, of course, when God is telling you to maybe step out and fulfill a financial need for someone else. But tell him what God did. Tell him how it affected them. Tell him how it changed their life. When your family sees all this activity of God going on, they're going to be enticed. They're going to want to join in what God's doing. They get excited. Leave room for your husband to pray. I don't know if anyone else has husbands that don't like to pray very much. I know my husband did not like to pray when we first got married. Ask him to pray. Ask him to pray for your meal. Ask him to pray when you're tucking your kids in. "Oh, honey, would you pray for them tonight?" If you're in a disagreement, stop right then and pray. It's amazing how things change when you invite God into the situation and you guys grow closer together to Him. If you come to your husband and tell him you're actually struggling with something, maybe you had a bad day, maybe there's a sin you struggle with, ask your husband to pray for you. More than likely, he's going to pray for you. How can we entice them and get them to pray? Your husband wants to be your hero. Give him opportunities in prayer to be your hero. Because I pray earnestly for years for my husband to become a prayer warrior, for him to be on fire for the Lord, for the Holy Spirit to just ignite a flame and a fire inside of him. So I just want to encourage you women, sometimes it takes a very long time of prayer. And we have to be very, very, very patient when we're praying for our spouses and our children.